Yo, what is going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking all about Apocalypse. Now, before we get into it, a lot of people after seeing the initial deep dive think that Apocalypse is a noodle, and this man definitely is not a noodle. He actually has some phenomenal damage output. The problem is, you need to build it, and it can be kind of annoying to build in some areas because you need to be throwing heavy attacks. So, places where you can't really reliably get off heavy attack, he's going to be kind of bad for. But he definitely has some cool stuff. And once he's fully built up, his damage output is actually pretty ridiculous. He can do, on a 565, it's around 1,400 damage per tick, which equates to around 2,800 damage per second. And that's just passively forever. And it's through debuffs. And the cool thing is your opponent can't shrug the debuffs off. Because Apocalypse has an ability here that just makes it so that the opponents suffer 100% purify ability accuracy reduction, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to show you guys against an Agent Venom later on, one of the biggest and beefiest Agent Venoms in the entire game. We're going to take it on with Apocalypse. But what I really like about Apocalypse is his Horseman ability. This has got to be one of the newest and coolest things in the entire game, man. So the Horseman of Apocalypse is a pre-fight and cross-fight ability. So basically, Apocalypse applies this pre-fight to a match, and then the next mutant to go into that fight with that pre-fight active will then obtain this cross-fight ability and become a Horseman. And the really cool thing about this is it doesn't have to be a mutant from you. It can be from your alliance mates. So in Alliance Quest or Alliance War, someone can bring in Apocalypse and boost up someone else. And, initially I thought it was going to be kind of annoying to, because you need to build Apocalypse up and get 4 genetic code. But you only have to do one fight with Apocalypse, and technically you don't even have to win. You just have to enter it, which of course in Alliance War you're going to want to win. But outside of there, for the beta purposes, I would just go into a fight, pause, quit out, revive Apocalypse, and then I could apply the pre-fight. So you just need to go into one fight as long as you have this synergy, either Sinister, Kang, or Cable, and you'll build to your maximum genetic code. And then you can go ahead and apply this Horseman ability. And now what this does is it gives champions 100% bleed resistance, so it makes any character a lot more suicide friendly and able to just do any type of bleed nodes, which is really cool. You gain indefinite prowess, increasing special attack damage by 50%, which is awesome, plus 30% of offensive ability accuracy. So you're going to be able to activate more things, like if you're using a bleed champion, which a lot of mutants have a bleed ability, you're going to be proccing that bleed more often. Go unblockable for 2 seconds when the opponent purifies a debuff, which it could save you, it could save you. But the last one's really cool. It could definitely save you. Once per fight, go unstoppable for 3 seconds when struck. And it's a passive unstoppable as well. So if you just slip up, you're going to go unstoppable, and it's going to be a bit of a safety net, kind of like what Thing has. So this can be applied to any mutant. And it's really, really awesome, man. It's really, really cool. So in the comments down below, if there is a champion that you guys would like to see become a Horseman and me to do a dedicated video on that, let me know in the comments below. There are a couple champions that also benefit from an additional ability with a synergy, like the Storms here. So the Storms have a synergy with Apocalypse, which increase their shock on this one. And then you see in red there, when she's a Horseman, she gains additional effects. And that's with both Storms. It's with Psylocke. It's with Gambit. The Gambit one is pretty cool. I have a video coming out on that within the next 15 minutes of this video being uploaded. Definitely should check that out. Perfect block machine. One with Wolverine, which is really good. Actually makes Wolverine really good. It just sucks because he's so rare. And then one with Archangel that I haven't tested yet, but Archangel's already so good. But yeah, Apocalypse, just a lot of cool stuff that he can do. As far as his abilities go, his signature ability is definitely does not need it. It's kind of silly, I think. I don't know. When he doesn't fight and you win a fight with someone else, then the next fight he goes into, he'll get some regen. Okay. I don't know about that one. But he has some cool things where he develops immunity to bleed and incinerate when he suffers from them for 8 seconds, and that persists through an entire quest. So Abyss, Labyrinth, and Act 6 quest. Once you obtain that immunity, it's till you leave that quest, which is pretty cool. And he does the exact same thing when the opponent evades. He gains a 10% chance to bypass evade, which eventually will go to 100%. and that also persists through the entire quest, which is pretty cool. But yeah, basically his rotation is special 1, heavy, special 2, heavies, build special 3, heavies in between there, get special 3, then you have permanent debuffs, then your damage output is good, then you're good to go. So that's a quick brief overview on Apocalypse. Now let's jump to some gameplay. Alright guys, so the first place we're going to jump to is just Realm of Legends. You know, this is the testing ground of MCOC. So we're going to be jumping in here, and we got a mutant team backing us up, and Apocalypse gains some attack for more mutants on his team. So I think right now we're getting about 60% attack from all these mutants on our team. Then Mr. Sinister also has a unique synergy. I think it's with Cable, which grants us a random effect at the start of the fight. In this fight we got a Fury, which is cool. But yeah, so basically the rotation is special 1, and then you see we're going to apply 2 debuffs here. The main thing, the really important thing with Apocalypse as well, is that synergy I talked about earlier, which grants you max charges. Basically, you're fully built up once you go into the first fight. He's kind of reliant on that synergy. You know, if you're going to be using Apocalypse seriously, you're definitely going to want to build that synergy, or bring that synergy, because then he's just built up from the first fight. And if he's built up from the first fight, it makes getting his damage, you know, set up much easier as well. Because when you're not at 4 charges, which is the max, your special attacks only apply 1 debuff, and it depends on if you ended on a medium or a light. But honestly, I haven't played Apocalypse a single time without bringing this synergy, because I would never play him unless I had that synergy. You know, it's already kind of a pain to build up his damage, and without that synergy, I'm not even going to bother. But with that synergy, you know, we just have to use 1 special 1, you know, keep those debuffs refreshed with a heavy, and then 1 special 2, apply the other 2 debuffs, keep them refreshed with a heavy, and then we have to build all the way to our special 3. And if you're able to do that, his damage output is phenomenal. It's really, really good once you get it built up like this, because now you see all those debuffs are permanent. They're not going anywhere, and the opponent can't purify them either. And you can see they're ticking for 1450 per tick, just passively. And that's going to go on until they're dead or until you die, which is really, really good. So, you know, that's the rotation with Apocalypse. He's actually quite simple to play. But again, you're going to have to want to bring that synergy. And this type of play style is not going to be reasonable in a lot of areas in the game, but it is going to be reasonable in some. Like in Abyss, honestly, I can see using him in Abyss, and definitely in Labyrinth as well, because I can prove that with this next fight here. We're going to be taking on one of the most difficult fights in Labyrinth of Legends, the Agent Venom. So we're going to be bringing in Apocalypse, and Apocalypse is so good for this for a couple of reasons. So reason number 1 is we're going to become immune to this Incinerate. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to get immune to that Incinerate, just to kind of, first of all, to kind of show you guys, and then also to just make the fight easier. So you see I'm purposefully letting the Incinerate get on me. So it's going to take 3 applications of the Incinerates to become immune to it, 8 seconds of it ticking. So here, as you see, the Incinerate goes away because it was 8 seconds. I become immune to it. Now I'm just going to quit out. I'm going to revive, go back in, because I'm on the beta. You know, resources are there. I might as well take advantage of them. So now when I go into this fight, I am immune to Incinerate. So there's Incinerate immunity, which is very important against Agent Venom, because I just never have to worry about getting that Incinerate on me now, which is great. Another reason why Apocalypse is so good for this fight is because Agent Venom can't shrug off a single debuff ever. It won't happen a single time. He will not shrug off any debuffs in this entire fight, which is awesome, man. It's really awesome. You know, it's really annoying about Agent Venom. You parry him, and it's like, is this going to stick? Is he going to shrug it off? You know, you're kind of unsure. Never have to worry about that with Apocalypse, which is really cool. And also, you know, Apocalypse's debuffs, I was kind of worried. I'm like, wait, Agent Venom, he's going to shrug them off? I'm like, wait, no, he can't shrug them off. You know, we're good. So building Apocalypse up will be just like any other fight. And I can easily parry heavy attack. It's not a worry. And also, it's just nice because when the debuff gets applied to Agent Venom, the Incinerate, it's going to stay. You know, most of the time he shrugs it off. But, you know, we also have class advantage here, so that's always good to have, right? And just, yeah, that the damage over time is really going to tick. As you see, that little evade icon in red there on Agent Venom, if you notice, that was there as soon as I entered the fight. And why that's there is because I defeated Star-Lord with Apocalypse first. And in that fight, Star-Lord evaded a total of 2 times. So now, as I persist through Labyrinth of Legends, all the opponents are going to have a reduced chance to evade, starting right now with 20%. And the more they evade, their 10% gets added. So that's what that little 20 means. But yeah, at this point, we've applied all of our debuffs. Now we get to the special 3. Drop this, and now this will make those debuffs permanent, and then I never have to worry about refreshing them again. And I can honestly, I can do whatever at this point, The fight is now under control. It's ticking for 1,700 damage. That is 3,414 damage every single second, which is a lot of damage. That really adds up, man. So yeah, pretty much now we just chill, hit them when we feel like it. There's no fight me coward here, so we don't have to worry about hitting him. I can't get the incinerate on me, so I don't have to worry about that. I can just take this at whatever pace I'd like and do my thing with Apocalypse. Apocalypse also deals some extra damage for debuff if you have the debuffs on his special 2. So it's some decent damage. When it crits, it also crits okay. It has quite a few hits, so the damage does add up. It's not like anything too flashy on the big yellow numbers, but it does add up, and that damage in red is also pretty nice. This is a 6-star rank 3 Apocalypse, just for clarification. It was a 565 against Winter Soldier. That's why the damage over time is a bit higher. Because I was doing these Labyrinth fights, I'm like, I could definitely do it with 565. It's going to be longer. I was like, I'd rather just do it with a rank 3 6-star just to speed it up a little bit, and a little bit more health points just in case I mess up. Another thing that Apocalypse can actually do, which is so weird, it's when you hit into the opponent's block. And now this was really tripping me up at first because I wasn't ready for it. A lot of the time when I'm baiting out an opponent's special attack and they're playing a little passive, I'll hit into their block a couple times, and then I'll dash back, and a lot of time they'll throw it, right? But with Apocalypse, I was doing that. His first light attack into their block stuns them for like 0.8 of a second, and that was really tripping me up, and it's really weird. It's a way to get an opening with Apocalypse, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it on offense. I was kind of starting to get used to it. As you saw in that Winter Soldier fight, I was utilizing it properly. I did that Winter Soldier fight after the Agent Venom one, and I started to learn Apocalypse a bit more. But it's very weird, and the stun doesn't last very long. So if the opponent has Limber or something, it's going to be, I don't advise really trying to punish it. I don't know. I find it very weird. And the other weird thing is that, to do it, you have to go throw, we don't have to, but in most cases, you'll dash at them into their block. So that's 1 hit, 1 medium. And then you throw the second hit to stun them in the block, which is the light. That's 2 hits. So now at this point, you only have 3 more hits in your combo. And that's kind of weird too. That kind of throws my rhythm off. Or you can also kind of like pause for a second, or not a second, half a second, and then like start a new combo. But I don't know, it's kind of weird. I think the main reason they gave that to Apocalypse though was for defensive purposes. I think Apocalypse is going to be a ridiculous defender. I think he's going to be a really prevalent Alliance War boss. He not only does he have like some pretty crazy defensive abilities plus pretty difficult to evade special attacks, but on top of all that, he has the defensive tag, which is going to make him a stubborn defender. So yeah, he's going to be an absolutely ridiculous boss, I think, man. Honestly, I think he's going to be the new main boss for Alliance War. I'm not even sure who's going to be the best option for him. I believe he is metal, so Magneto could be potentially an option. I don't know. As you saw right there, Agent Venom did evade, and then that number that was 20 with the little evade icon did go to 30. So it is working. I'm not even sure if it counters the Labyrinth evade. I'm assuming it does since it's there, but who knows. There's another evade, and it just went to 40. So yeah, I wonder, I kind of want to do a path and like get it up to 100 and see if it actually prevents evade. But the thing about an ability like that is I feel like it'd be so difficult to get it to 100 because, once you're at like 80 and 90, that's reducing the chance to evade by 80%, 90%. I feel like they're just not going to evade, which is why I kind of don't like abilities like that. You know, I like an ability where you can fully prevent the chance to evade by like doing something to build it up, you know, not by making them evade and then your chance goes up. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of how that works. Maybe if it was just like after, you know, 5 evades, you know, they can't evade anymore for the rest of the quest, you know, and it's not reduced, but once you get to 5 evades, it's done. I would prefer something like that personally, but yeah, as you can see, this fight is almost over. Our damage over time has just been putting in absolute work. Get to one more special too, and that's Agent Venom in Labyrinth of Legends, soloed by Apocalypse, and I feel like he did a great job, man. I feel like he did a really good job. It was over like 3 million health, and it only took us under 300 hits, so you know, not bad. You know, overall, I do think Apocalypse is pretty good when you can build them up. Once you can get the Special 1, Special 2, then Special 3, and make all those debuffs permanent. If you can do that in a matchup, I think he'll be pretty good. You got some new cool kind of immunities. You know, he can do some cool stuff. The minus 100% Purify ability accuracy reduction is pretty cool and obscure. I do like that. And his Horseman ability, though, that's what I really love, man. There's so much potential for this guy, for the entire mutant class. It's really cool. So yeah, if there's any specific mutant champions that you guys want to see me make a Horseman out of and then make a video dedicated to them, you know, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of Apocalypse. Do you still think he's a noodle? Do you think he's pretty good? You know, I'm very interested to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments. But yeah, if you enjoyed, drop a like, drop a comment. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.